Judge Caprio. Hello, good morning.
How are you?
His eyes found a small girl sitting beside her mother, bright-eyed, curious and trying to make sense of the room. Judge Caprio, what's the little girl's name? Mother, Janice. He smiled gently. Judge Caprio, hi Janice. You want to come up here and help me out? The girl looked at her mother, uncertain but intrigued. Janice, sure. Judge Caprio, come on. She climbed the few steps to the bench, her tiny sneakers making soft taps against the marble floor. The judge gestured toward the seat beside him. Judge Caprio, tell us your full name. Janice. Janice. Judge Caprio. Okay, and how old are you? Janice, 6. Judge Caprio, 6 years old? Wow. And do you go to school? Janice, yes. Judge Caprio, what's your favorite subject? Is it math? Janice, yes, math. Judge Caprio, is it English? Janice, yes. He chuckled softly. Judge Caprio, I think you're going to say yes to everything I ask, right? Janice smiled shyly, nodding. Judge Caprio, well, let me ask you another question. Someday when you get older and not as old as me, he laughed, but just a little older, after you graduate from college, what do you think you want to do in life? Janice looked thoughtful, twisting her fingers together. Janice, well, I want to be a teacher. Judge Caprio's expression softened. Judge Caprio, that's a very wonderful thing to do. That's a great job. You can help other people improve their lives, right? Janice, yes. Judge Caprio, and you get great joy from teaching, yes? Janice, yes. Judge Caprio, okay, you keep visualizing that in your mind and it'll happen. Teaching's a beautiful thing. You still want to be a teacher someday? Janice, He nodded approvingly. Judge Caprio, all right, now, would you like to be a judge for about 5 minutes? Janice, yes. Judge Caprio, okay. I'm going to make you a judge. And you're going to help me out with your mom, okay? Janice, okay. Judge Caprio, now you're going to be fair. You're going to be honest in trying to help me out, right? Janice, okay. Judge Caprio, and you promise? Janice, okay, good. The courtroom chuckled softly. The atmosphere had changed, lighter now, more human. Even the bailiff grinned as Janice straightened in her seat, ready to judge. Judge Caprio turned to the file in front of him. Judge Caprio, now your mom is charged with parking on a sidewalk. And that fine is $100. He paused for effect. Judge Caprio, she hasn't paid the ticket. So there are penalties in addition to the $100, so what we're going to do is ask her to give us an explanation, okay? Janice, okay. Judge Caprio, then we'll make a decision on what we should do. He looked toward Janice's mother. Judge Caprio, do you have an explanation? The woman took a small breath, glancing briefly at her daughter before answering. Mother, yes, this was on Alna Street. I parked there in the morning. I went to my cousin's house to pick up something and the street was really bad. They were having a party, and I didn't want anyone to hit my car, so I went up on the sidewalk to be safe. When I went upstairs, the police were there. They didn't want to open the door because they were going to shut down the party. So I couldn't come outside. When I came outside, there was the $100 ticket. Judge Caprio, so you parked on the sidewalk? Mother, yes. Judge Caprio, were you at the party as well? Mother, yes. Judge Caprio, okay, so that's your explanation. He turned to Janice, who was listening carefully. Judge Caprio, did you hear that? Janice, yes. Judge Caprio, okay, now we have to make a decision. So your mom says she went to a party at her cousin's house, and she parked on the sidewalk. They were having a good time, and even if she wanted to move the car, she couldn't because the police were downstairs. Janice nodded solemnly. Judge Caprio, here are the choices. I'm going to give you numbers and then we'll make a decision. Don't look at anybody, just you and me, okay? Because we're going to be fair. Janice, okay. Judge Caprio, all right. Number 1, we can give her all the penalties and that would be $300. Number 2, we can waive the penalties. So she pays no penalties and just pays the $100. Number 3, we can give her a break, cut the fine in half and charge her $50. Or number 4, maybe we charge her $0. He paused and leaned in slightly. Judge Caprio, so the real fine is $300 with penalties. The original fine is $100. If you wanted to cut that in half, it'd be $50. The last choice is $0. He smiled kindly. Judge Caprio, I'm stuck. What would you do to be fair about this whole thing? Janice looked thoughtful. Her feet swung slightly as she repeated the numbers in her mind. Janice, how much was number 3 again? Judge Caprio, $50. She nodded. Janice, I'm going to charge her number 3. Judge Caprio, you're sure? Janice, yes. Judge Caprio, you don't want to charge her 100? That was the original fine. Janice, no. Judge Caprio, you can't charge 0, right? Janice, no, can't charge 0. Judge Caprio, okay, you want to help. Janice smiled, pleased with her decision. The mother looked relieved, though she tried not to show it too openly. Judge Caprio noticed the little girl's patience. She'd been sitting there for more than an hour. He glanced at her kindly. Judge Caprio, now I noticed you're here with your mom. Who else are you here with? Janice, my sister. Judge Caprio, your sister, okay. And who else? Janice and my uncle. Judge Caprio, your uncle too, okay, now. You've been here since 8 ounce this morning, right? It's like 9:20 already. Janice, yes. Judge Caprio, what did you have for breakfast this morning? Janice, I didn't have anything this morning. I'm actually starving. Judge Caprio's eyes softened. Judge Caprio, you haven't had breakfast today? Janice, no. He thought for a moment, then smiled, leaning back with a sparkle in his eye. Judge Caprio, well, suppose I make a deal with your mom, okay? If she buys you breakfast when you leave here, I'll dismiss the ticket. I'll dismiss it. Is that a good deal? Janice giggled. Judge Caprio, because she wants your money, you know. So I'll charge 0 if she buys you breakfast. If you say it's okay. But if you say it's not okay, then she's going to pay the $50. What do you think? Janice, grinning wide, answered without hesitation. Janice, breakfast. The courtroom laughed. Even her mother smiled, shaking her head. Judge Caprio, breakfast it is. Thank you so much, Judge Janice. You did a great job. He tapped his pen lightly, a symbolic gavel. The case and the morning account were dismissed with laughter and warmth. As Janice returned to her seat, the entire courtroom glowed with a soft kind of joy. Her mother hugged her, whispering something only daughters can hear, a mixture of love and gratitude. Judge Caprio leaned back and smiled at the bailiff. Judge Caprio, she's a tough judge and but a fair one. The room shared a quiet laugh, then shifted to the next case. But the warmth lingered. Everyone who witnessed the exchange felt a bit lighter, reminded that even in places built for rules and penalties, kindness has its own authority. Janice had just learned something powerful, that justice doesn't have to be cold. It can be thoughtful, understanding, and even humorous. Her mother learned something too. Sometimes accountability comes wrapped in mercy. After the hearing, as the family stepped outside, the morning air felt gentler. Janice skipped beside her mother, who promised her a big breakfast, pancakes, maybe eggs, maybe juice too. The uncle teased that Janice had saved the family from the full fine. The sister held her hand proudly. Inside, Judge Caprio took a brief pause before the next case, looking at the empty seat where Janice had sat moments earlier. He smiled to himself, a quiet satisfaction, in knowing that one small act of kindness had reached beyond the bench. He didn't know what Janice would become, a teacher, a judge, or something entirely different. But he knew this. For one morning, she had made justice feel human. And so the gavel rested softly. The light continued to pour through the stained glass, and the lesson of the day was sealed in the hearts of everyone present, that justice at its best is simply kindness in action.